Welcome to the evening edition of News with a View. It is March 5th. This will be technically episode 45B, but I'll make it 46. News with a View, Fat Cat Production. That's me, Fat Guy. John A. Costa with Alice Incognito. Now, Alice is only going to be here till, now we're doing this at 6:53 p.m. She has to be out by 8. Freaking workers. I gotta leave. You weren't here last week.
I gotta do other charitable work.
What a horrible work ethic. I need Elon Musk to fire everyone. Doge him.
I'm waiting for the email. It could happen.
Doge them all. So we're going to speak tonight again about President Trump's congressional. I'm going to take this shot in. Congressional speech, which depends on which. If you listen to MSNBC, it was, oh my God, it was packed full of lies. He should have had horns coming out of his head. And then, of course, you go to Fox, and it was the most wonderful thing that ever happened, and everyone should be happy they're fired. So it depends on who you listen to. But if you watched it, it was a very good speech. I thought it was one of his best speeches that he gave. He was to the point, and the waste in government is just excessive. And you look at how far the government grew during the Biden administration. It's scary. And we just can't continue that. You can't have jobs for the sake of having government jobs. And a government job is not a lifetime appointment either. Some jobs do have appointed times to them. And as we were discussing in another podcast, where I said that I figured 80% of his executive orders would blanket go through. It's the 20% ones that are, going to be a fight. I said the firings were one, and the shutting down of appropriated monies already approved by Congress was going to be another one, because there's a strict mandate on how you do that. And honestly, listen, no one more for Trump than me. But I said the way he was doing it, it just wasn't going to pass. It wasn't going to go through. And I mean, he had to have been told that he was going to get a lot of blowback on the appropriated money.
He just pushed through it anyway?
He pushed through it. I think he was looking, it's like the old saying, I'll ask for forgiveness before I'll ask for permission. And if they catch it, they stop it, what's the difference? It was going out the door anyway. And now I can scream and yell about it for the next 4 years. But there was an easier way for him to do it. And, there's a mechanism involved for clawbacking money. And he didn't follow it. Just like he didn't follow the 30-day notice on employees. And remember, everyone who works for the government, they're an employee. No matter where you are in that bracket, you're an employee. But those people that were picked by a president, nominated, and then went through a Senate hearing to get confirmed, are given 3-year, 5-year, 10-year terms, and they can't be fired. They can't be fired by the sitting president without real good reasons, misuse, inefficiency, theft, something along those lines. Not just because I'm coming in there and I want my own people there. That is why they created those positions to be approved by the Senate, confirmed by the Senate, so they couldn't, any political change wasn't going to change the landscape, and things that were supposed to happen would happen as far as the government ongoing after a regime change. President Trump didn't want to do that. He did not want to give that 30-day notice. And he didn't have a valid reason for some of these people other than, I don't want them there. And those people knew that, and they fought back, and they're going to be protected. Now, he can go through the whole thing of trying to get rid of these people, and there are ways to get around those people. And he should have looked at that, but he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that.
Quick draw. That's what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know what? I mean, some will stay on, and then some probably are going to be let go.
Now, as far as the employees, the regular,
Yeah.
what I call ham and eggers, you have a union contract, and but there are layers of protection inside the government. Each agency has to answer to another agency, and that just got yanked back by the robes, who have really said, hey, there are remedies to do this, and you didn't seek those remedies. And it will be interesting. Some of these people will get their jobs back, and others will not. It was mostly because he went after the low-hanging fruit first. He went after the probationary employees. And even, well, see, I had a contract, and there was very little wiggle room in the private sector area for probationary employees. In my case, I think we had 90 days to evaluate someone, and then we gave the company, we said 6 months, and the 180 days. But on that 81st day, then they got full protection of the union contract. And some of these people have been 1 and 2 year employees, still in the probationary stages. And there is a mechanism for letting them go, and then has to go through the department head agency and down. But I think in the end, Trump will win that when it gets kicked up all the way, and there's an explanation on why he was doing it and why he wanted the heads of those departments out of there. So,
More to come on that.
oh yeah. Social Security is going to be, already the head guy of Social Security, he quit. The minute Doge came in there and started looking around, he flew the coop. So that's an easy one. And the person then sitting there, the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, they had the authority to send letters out and communications, but they didn't have the power to fire. And that's where this came in, where they sent the letter out saying, you got, boom, thank you, get out.
Okay.
That had to come from each agency's department head, then through OPM. And then there's a mechanism inside the government. When they fire you or disciplinary, it goes to another group who overlooks it to make sure that, this wasn't a problem. Again, very bad. I don't know because I don't know. But I would say someone inside the Trump administration had to have said, hey, this, there's this way of doing it, and then there's your way of doing it. Now, your way of doing it, you might brute force some of it. But,
which I think he kind of wanted.
Well, he did that for a reason. And there was the other method where the lawyers We're saying, well, we go through this. That could take 8 months,
Right.
a year.
He didn't want that.
He didn't want that. He did not want to give the Democrats
No.
any chance.
Well, any more time.
Right. And he didn't want to, because, see, this would have dragged on to the midterms. He doesn't want that. So, but I think in the end, these people will be gone because either either the agency heads obey the administration
What do you think?
to the law, or these people become ineffective, and they could be let go for being ineffective. Because you're not asking them to do anything illegal. You're just telling them, hey, you got to trim down 80% of your department. You figure it out. And if they say, well, I
Well,
can't.
you got to show the books. You got to show what you've been,
Well, and
all of
again, if you won't show me, then I'll go every third person. Boom, boom, you, boom, 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 you, boom, 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 you. And if you won't do it, then I'll do it. So that's the other problem that happens. And, we'll see how that works out. But I thought the speech was very good. The Democrats, of course, acted like little children with their little bingo signs and whatever they were having there.
Children. They act like children.
Yeah.
It's
And,
it's disgusting, actually. Act like an adult, please.
Representative Al Green, Democrat, Texas, of course, had to be forcibly removed from the chambers. And, it shows again when the Democrats don't get their way.
Right.
They scream, they yell.
Children.
Yeah.
You're dealing with children. You're
Yeah.
not dealing with adults. That's the problem with them. They
and
scream and
they
yell,
keep-
throw themselves down.
They
till they
keep
get their
going
way.
to their old playbook. Stop. That playbook did not get you elected. And even Trump said that. How'd that work out for
Yeah.
you? How'd that work out for you? So you might want to change. And my suggestion in today's earlier episode was if I were the Democrats, I'd go, we're going to get on board with the president. But we're going to make sure they see our plan. And our plan can get to where you want to go to, Mr. President, without cutting to the bone and finding we did too much, too fast, too soon. So,
They're never. All they want to do is fight. It's
yes.
Trump arrangements.
Right.
It's
They right. Anything Trump says,
Yeah,
if it's
it's
white,
so
it's black. If it's
frustrating.
black, it's white.
Because we don't do that when Obama was elected.
Well,
when
we couldn't do
Biden
it.
was elected, did we act that way? Did we?
No, we
we
couldn't do
didn't.
it because we'd be called racist.
Correct.
And
Correct.
there was a
But
whole bunch of
now
things
you can
for it.
throw yourselves down on the ground, act like children, cry and scream about. Really, most of it is nonsense half the time. You're not even actually fighting for what people voted for. Your own people, because you lost a lot of your own people who actually helped flip some states that I never thought would.
Oh yeah, well
Right.
you take
You
a look at
know?
that blue
You
wall.
just-
How'd that blue
right.
wall hold up for
You
you?
need to reevaluate yourself and your situations because you lost a lot of people, and this is what they voted for. They didn't
And-
vote for
right.
you. You didn't get the vote. You lost,
And you might
that's
not-
what they voted for. That changed.
You might not get them back.
I hope they don't.
You might not get them back. Now, listen, you always have 38% of the voters that will always vote Democrat,
Right.
and
Loyal.
38%
Full loyalty,
of the Republican vote that will just push that red lever the whole time, and blue lever, whatever. And then you have the mix, and then you have that real small undecided, and that's where this seems to be going in the last couple elections. It's the undecided voters. But in reality, in this election, it showed that they were very well decided. And they didn't make their decisions at the last moment.
Correct.
That decision in this election was made when after the disastrous debate of Joe Biden, and everyone goes, oh my God, we've all been gaslighted. And a lot of us weren't gaslighted. A lot of us said, hey, Biden has a problem.
Yeah, but they never want to hear it.
No, they denied it.
Yeah.
They hid it. They had,
How dare we say that?
Yeah.
How dare we question his, his mental, abilities and.
and the guy was, he was suffering. It's like if he was suffering from cancer. Would you deny that? He had dementia.
That's it.
Every family now that has people that live into the 70s and 80s are dealing with that. Most of us, didn't have family members that lived till 80 or 90, and now these people, Joe Biden's old. Trump is old.
Yeah.
But the Democrats have to get off their old playbook. I know they feel comfortable. You had Schumer today come out there, and CNN asked him, what did you think of Representative Green shaking his cane at Trump while Trump was trying to give a speech and screaming and disrupting? And Schumer refused to answer the question.
Oh, how... So
he refused it. Almost like, that's the... No.
Typical.
What did you feel about that? You're the Senate minority head.
He's got nothing to say on it.
What did you say about that? Because I know for a fact that they gave out orders, no signs, and no screaming and yelling, while the speech is going on. You could do all that while people are applauding. You could boo. You could wear your pink dresses, your white dresses, your black dresses. That's fine. That's politics. But in the chambers, you don't do that. And yet they had all their people doing that. And they looked silly. The Democrats looked silly holding up the little thing, eat at Joe's. It didn't mean anything. And when Trump, the master of getting an audience wrapped up, his first thing is goes, why can't tonight only, I'm just asking you for tonight only, can't we all say, let's make America great? And they just refused. And then when the 13-year-old cancer survivor, and they brought him up, and that was non-political, this was not going towards anything political. The Trump administration heard of this young boy, brought his father with him to say, he was a Trump supporter, and how wonderful it is. And this little 13-year-old's dream was to become a policeman. He survived brain cancer. They only gave him, when he was like 5 or 6 years old, 6 months to live. And they got, he's 13 and now doing well. And all the police departments in the area gave the little boy honorary badges and stuff. And the head of the Secret Service gave the little boy an honorary Secret Service card. And everyone applauded, except
the Democrats.
Everyone stood up.
Because
except there were some Democrats that clapped, but to do it as a block, to say we won't do it for anyone, this was not a political thing. Now, for Trump, it was a political thing. He now showed that so much for DEI with these. Where was the inclusion?
They never were.
Right.
They never were.
So it was all a lie. It's all smoke and mirrors.
You couldn't be straight and be part of DEI.
Yeah.
You're straight and you're white.
Yeah.
You're not part of it.
Yeah.
You're not different, so you can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
That's that.
So I mean, I was so happy on all the things that Trump brought up. And yes, he had some setbacks, and I said it was going to happen with the USAID. When you have money appropriated by Congress, it's almost impossible to get that money back. So $2 billion goes out the door. And Trump's going to fight that to a point, saying, well, we're going to look over the bills. We're allowed to look over the bills and make sure they're all legit, and it's going to go to this organization and nowhere else in between. So they can do that. But they can't refuse to pay that. And a lot of these ones, they're on the brink of going out of business already. In 30 days? Really? I find that hard to believe. Mm-hmm. I find that hard to believe. And some of these ones where there are legit, agencies that they're helping and people they're helping, I'm fine with. Not really. I don't want to see that again. But it's been done. And you didn't follow the process to get it the right way. And now it's got to go out the door. Now you can go and file those papers again. And do it the right way. And come back. And there's no penalty for that. And since the Congress is red, why didn't you do it the right way? And you could have avoided all this. But I know why. Each side only has either 2 years or 4 years or 6 years. And that's it. And you see how the courts are handling stuff and dragging their feet. This stuff could have gone on forever. And nothing gets done. So there was a lot of reasons why Trump did what he did and how he's acting. Now, I don't know of the 70,000 plus jobs he wants to cut at the VA. I think the Veterans Administration needs a lot of help, but if there's a lot of waste there, I'd rather see whatever money those 70,000 employees now that you said are over the top, the money that they would have been being paid goes into the VA for services. And, we got to protect our veterans.
Yeah, the VA needs an overhaul.
You got to protect our veterans. I mean, and every country has treated their veterans like crap.
Agreed.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Mm-hmm. And it is disgraceful. Now, there were a lot of good things. We had the GI Bill and the VA loans and stuff. And those were good programs that rewarded those people.
It's the medical side of VA that is a disaster.
Now, the reason those programs started, mind you, was because in World War II, they had volunteers. But I'd say 75% of the makeup was all people that were drafted. And these people were taken away for between 1 year and 4 years from their family, even longer in some instances. Mm-hmm. And they had to make that good to them. So the GI Bill, very important. But once we went to a voluntary army, a lot of people just said, well, you joined. No. For voluntary, there should even be more. There should be, housing. There should be medical. Not just for you, but for your family. You become not a super citizen, but you get certain benefits by doing that the ordinary person who didn't decide, I'm not going to join the military. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. But you're not going to pick up those added perks. So you have to make it alluring. You have to make them want to come in and give them something and then treat them good afterwards. I mean, most countries, even democracies, are mandatory services. You at least have to serve 18 months or 2 years. And in some instances, you go in for 10 years. You got to give 10 years. Yeah,
Israel.
Yeah, freedom does not come without a cost. And for us that didn't serve, that's called taxes. Because I got to pay someone to do it. And I got to take care of them. So, it's got to come from you.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, it's for that type of taxes, I have no problem with. My tax money going over to Zimbabwe to teach gay liberal arts and dancing and how it affects the rain clouds. Yeah, I got a major problem with that.
Everyone should have a major problem with that.
I mean, and some of these countries I've never even heard
Why
of.
are
I
we
looked at
even
them.
paying for that? Why?
How did that even come up? Who brought that up?
If that's what they want to be taught over there, you take it
We
upon
shouldn't be
yourself
doing
to figure
that.
it out. We should not be fronting or funding any of that money
Now we
over
know
to them to be
we
teaching
know a
lessons
lot of that.
sorts.
A lot of that money goes in the front door and goes out the back door and buys guns, and it's for insurgencies where we can't put our fingerprints on doing it, so they give it through other things. Well, that's called dark money, and if we're going to do that, then
I
let
hope
the
that's
people that are running dark money programs, well, give them that money then. But don't disguise it as, we're feeding babies when you're actually buying
Right.
bullets. Don't do that. And that's been every administration. I do not blame Biden for it. I don't blame Bush for it. I don't blame Clinton for it. I mean, this goes all the way back to JFK, who started the program. And it was to give insurgencies money that we couldn't normally give through other channels. So, it goes all the way back to the Bay of Pigs. A lot of you people don't even know what that is. But I'll have you look it up.
Yeah.
Bob Barada, you might.
Bob knows.
Bob knows. My buddy Bob. If he was watching that, he had to have been throwing vodka bottles at the TV and yelling and screaming yesterday, just wishing I was there to hit him with Corona beer bottle tops. Oh yeah. He would tell me they hurt. And I go, oh, good.
Ow.
Good. I made that one extra spiky. So, but Bob was someone that you could argue with politics. And then if you needed a hand, he'd stop whatever he was doing and help you. And that's a guy I said that talked it and walked it.
Right.
So Bob was always as a
Bob, right, he didn't
uber liberal.
He doesn't act like a child.
Oh, he does.
No, you don't.
Yeah. You've never
You
seen.
can have a conversation
you-
with him.
you've
Some
ne-
of the other Democrats, sorry, Bob. Some of them you can't. You cannot have a constructive conversation because it doesn't end well.
No, I always yell at Bob. And that's where we came up with your stupid and double stupid. But that's the way it works. But I would say Bob would act like a child if you ever saw him eat. So,
I love food.
all right.
I
Well,
love food too, Bob.
but I kid Bob. No, I don't.
All right, what else do we got?
Well, we have the Democrat response, and oh God, what Alyssa? Oh, I forgot. She's first term Democrat senator from Michigan, and I apologize. I had this, and I had to font that on my response
bring my
today.
phone up.
But she gave a very good speech and a very good response, passionate, but it was, we're patriotic too. We're this, that too. And we know we failed in some spots and we're going to do that. No. Your best bet, again, is jumping on Trump's bandwagon, working with him so you could say, this is what we asked him to do, and he said no. But we were there with him, and we're going to work with him. He wanted to cut 5,000 jobs. We got him cut 3,500. That is what the Democrats need to do. You are not going to win from the outside. You only win on the inside game. And if you're not going to be inside, all you're going to do is be holding those stupid little signs, wearing your pink and red dresses.
That's all you got. That's all they got.
And you're going to hope that you win some seats back in the midterms. I don't care how bad Trump you're saying he's doing right now, I think he's doing great. And I don't think that if the election was held again today, Trump would win by the same amount.
Yep.
And you're not winning any converts. And the people that do say, oh, now I made a mistake, there's probably a lot of Democrats that go, oh, you know what? Trump makes pretty good sense. I'm listening to him. It's hard to disagree with him. So, and I know there's a lot of people that can disagree with Trump. Like I said, I'm not locked in step with anyone. And Trump, again, his key thing, and I said that even before his election, common sense. Common sense logic. Now, my common sense might not be your common sense, and your common sense might not be mine. But the law is. And I had a problem with Trump, and I say it again. You don't follow the law, you don't follow the procedures, you're going to get yanked by your shorts from behind and get a wedgie. Because you just can't do it. No matter what you say. And don't make the same mistake of trying to run this like a business.
Yeah.
You can't. The government isn't a business. And that's what he's trying to tell people. It's not a business. And if you look at the numbers from 2019 to now on how much the federal government has grown, you'd be shocked. Now, you would also turn around and go, well, our population has grown. Yeah, why? Because we had no borders. And 21 million people came in.
Right.
So, yeah, you needed more welfare programs. You needed more give me programs. And you had to put people in there. And then you had to try to protect these 21 million that you brought in so you can get them on the voter rolls. Yeah, we stopped you. And Trump is getting them out of here as quick as he can.
Good.
And it is good.
Keep it rolling.
I like his idea of the gold card program for immigration. I think that's a start, but I think that has to be made for people that are here already, undocumented, come in out of the light. If you're not a criminal, if you're a criminal, stay undercover, but we're going to find you. You will get caught, and you will be tossed right out. But if you're not, make it so they can come out into the light, get onto the program, and then document it.
Come in and
Document. Don't make them citizens right away. They don't need to be citizens right away. You just got to know who they are and where they are, and they could show that green card to an employer, and he'll put that ID in there, and you're good to go.
Right. They can work. You don't have to worry about it as a business owner.
And you could go to a hospital. You could go to call the law if you need the police. You don't have to be afraid that I can't call. They'll come and arrest me. You don't have to be afraid of that. And that is something that I said should be looked at vigorously as you're going after the criminals vigorously.
I would like to believe that is. It's just going to take some time to get to that.
I think the main problem is we've got to get rid of the gangs.
Right. I was going to say their real focus right now is true hardened criminals.
But then you have the people running through the neighborhoods, the left running through the neighborhoods. The police are coming, ICE is coming, and they...
You know what? They need to get arrested.
Well,
because you know what? They're probably the same little shits who started the riots and did everything during the...
Well, the problem is...
You know what? Catch them now.
How'd they find out about it? How did they find out about it ahead of time? And those are leaks inside Homeland Security. Now, Homeland Security has said, we know who these people are, and they're being acted upon. I think the American public needs to know who's been arrested for that, or who's been charged. And then, what's the penalty for it? I would rate that up if you're going to name gangs as external terrorists, then anyone who helps them, who's an American,
then they need to be arrested.
That's treason. Treason.
Yep.
And if you're in government and you're helping them,
absolutely
treason.
Absolutely.
AOC, who is telling all these people this is how you avoid.
She needs to, I don't know why she's getting a
She
pass.
needs to. Someone needs to sit down with her, and let her challenge the law. Then let her challenge the law. But in the meantime, bracelets go on.
Yeah.
And you get charged.
But why? Why are we not doing this?
Because there's this.
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth.
But you can't.
So,
if you run too fast, you fall. So. And not slow and steady wins the race here. But I think what has to happen is that, one, you're going to have to get the people behind you, and that means the media. You're going to have to get the media. Now, the media there is a turn. There is a turn in the media. I don't want the media controlled by any one group. I didn't like it. If the Republicans ran the media, I didn't like it. If the Democrats ran the media, I didn't like that, because you're not getting the facts, and you can only make a conclusion with the facts. Other than that, it's just an opinion. And, or my gut feeling. And we shouldn't be going by gut feeling here. I'm just checking the time. You got 15 minutes before you really have to prepare to run. What a lousy worker. Really. Really.
I am a hard, dedicated worker here.
The boss has to, you gotta go, you could leave now. But
hold up, I gotta hold up my sign. So everyone can see. Like the Democrats.
Yeah, really.
That was what that was.
Yeah.
Hold up my little sign.
Fat guy, no good. But she did come early today. She did show up earlier than she said she would, and I wasn't ready yet. I have to bathe. I gotta comb my hair. I gotta, So, but we're just gonna throw this up as an extra. We're finally in Studio B.
Yes.
And I got to put a rug down. I have a wood floor in here, and it's a little echoey. But I got a lot of stuff in here. I can only imagine what this thing would have sounded like, a gymnasium.
Yeah, if you didn't have all this thing.
Yeah. And maybe the next show I'll do a little pan of everything that's up here, because it's really is a nice little room. And
a lot of good stuff. A lot
Yeah.
of collectible little antiques.
yeah, all my little
Love
toys behind me, and then my wife, all her games that she played. You won't see games on my side. Anything that I had to read, there's instructions. I don't want to do it. I'm not interested.
Hated games as a
Yeah,
kid.
just really.
I'm not a fan of them. As an
Yeah,
adult.
just where's the little thing I could hit with the hammer as it sticks its head up? That I can understand.
Actually, you would like Cards Against Humanity, by the way.
No.
You would like that game.
And my wife had Clue and all these other games. I go,
Nice.
Clue. Hold it. Now I have to deduct it was Mr. Mustard in the ballroom, or in the library.
Clue.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to do that. How long do we have to play this game? No. I play Monopoly. I never liked the game of life. I hold
Do
it
you
up.
like Trivial Pursuit?
Some of it.
Scrabble?
No, I hated Scrabble. I hated Scrabble. My mother would play that and try to encourage us to learn words, and my brother and I would just look. I think
Horrible.
curse words.
Curse or
and they just gave up.
Highly inappropriate.
Yeah,
words.
they just gave up. And I said my mother was from Wisconsin, from Milwaukee. She was a socialist. My dad was from New York City, and he wasn't, and how those two. And my mom would try to, as best she could, and my poor mother. My dad, would say something, and we'd say something back, and he'd be trying to, grab us, but he couldn't, because he had small arms trying to reach us in the back of the car. And, what could you do? What could you do? one brother always tried to outdo the other brother in wit and jokes and quickness. And between four boys, you had to be quick. And you had to be witty. And if you want to make a statement that was going to poke at someone, it had to be funny. Or you get punched by three people. So you learn to be, real quick. I had two grandfathers who I knew, and both were quick-witted, and both would cut you down to size. They tell you right out, this kid's a moron. So you learned. Children should be seen, not heard, because if you open your mouth, they're going to look at you. So, but again, getting back to Trump, I think he's on the right path. He's got to follow the guardrails, stay inside the lane.
He's just a little wild right now.
Yeah.
He'll calm down.
Well, he loves chaos. He thrives in
He does
chaos.
thrive in chaos.
He thrives in chaos. That is his wheelhouse. And most people don't. We don't want chaos. We don't want disruption. We want nice.
How do you feel about Elon Musk? Let's touch on Musk.
Okay, Elon Musk.
He's a hot topic.
I like Musk, but he thinks so far out of the box. Us ordinary brain cells, it's hard for us to wrap our head around what he's doing, and then he has to slow it down so our craniums can take in the information. A brilliant guy.
He's a brilliant mind.
Brilliant mind. I don't know if I'd want him running government agencies because that's outside his wheelhouse, because there's too many restrictions on that. And he can't deal with those restrictions. The government is meant to be restrictive and hard to change.
He's got a crew under him. He doesn't have to solely...
Well, I didn't like that. Number one, I didn't like that either he is given an administrative title other than the head of, and he's not the head. He's acting for Doge. He's acting for Doge. Who is it? Gleason, Amy Gleason. She's in charge of that. But he's taking his orders from Trump, which, as a federal employee on the executive branch, Trump can do. But I think that if he's going to be making statements and he's going to be out in front, he needs a little bit more than just a presidential appointee title. Now, is Trump doing that to shield him from lawsuits and shield him? Those lawsuits are going to come anyway. They're coming. You can't stop someone from filing a suit. Now, when it gets up to the thing, it might not have merit, and they go, no, he's got government immunity. You can't do it. Nice try. It's like you can't fight City Hall. But I
think what he's doing and how he's,
he
speaking to everyone, with full transparency as best as he can. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just an unusual thing that we haven't had that. And in saying that, we don't know the animal. There is no cage. So, is this dangerous or is this good? Is this a friendly animal? Or is this animal going to be smiling and I go to pet him, he takes my arm off? I think in his element, he's excellent. I think in the element of government, I don't know. Don't know. I think if there's a person who can figure out all the nonsense, And instead of going like this, like this, like this to get to here, he knows just to go how to straight go there.
But that's kind of what he's doing.
Up to a point. Up to
Like
a point.
he was brought in to help assess the situation, and then basically a solution. So we already know it's
Yes.
broken. Now we got to fix it.
No,
Solution.
yeah, but see now he's involved with. He was there to observe and report, and now it seems a little bit more than that, where he can tell agency heads what to do and how they're going to do it. Now, in reality, he reports back to the president, and the president then can do it. And that's fine, but if we all know that that is the process, and then we, you could say, hey, that guy should be vetted by, the Senate. We do that for a lot of department heads there. Why wouldn't you do it here? And I think those are legitimate questions to ask. And it's nonpartisan. This is how we normally do it.
Right. Not fair.
And
That's
it's
fair.
Republicans and Democrats. We know what the rules are on the game. So when you start seeing stuff where, what are you doing? And then everything becomes a legal precedent, where before it really wasn't. And you're now taking everything to the court, and we're ruling through. It's just a strange feeling. I don't like the feeling, and I know why he's
But
doing
is that
it.
the only way to get to the bottom of what's going on?
Maybe.
So you're going to be like,
Yes.
it's the only path to get what.
Where
the final outcome.
normally we could have a Department of Justice go in there and do an examination, but in the meantime, to all do that, everyone knows your game plan 5 weeks before, and I am sure, if anyone honestly believed that that the report of the Kennedy assassination was going to contain anything that wasn't put in a shredder in 1964, you're crazy. The same thing with Epstein's list. You're not going to learn anything more than we've learned. Why? Because all the juicy stuff because Epstein was a source of information. He was the go-to guy where the government goes, listen, we can't get to this guy. But you can. And for doing that, those flights that you want and this stuff, and, there's an envelope over here for you. Where the government can't have their fingerprints on stuff. So they're using Epstein. And Epstein got...
He was an informant.
Not an informant, he was a procurer.
Okay.
I'm going to put this guy in touch with this guy that normally they would never cross paths. And then he'd have those people together, and both of them would benefit, and then it benefited him. He was a procurer. And during that time, I'm sure the CIA said, we want this guy and this guy to meet, because that's our guy over here, and we need him over here to get us in over there. But we can't go to him. If we go to him, yeah. So he was a procurer. He was a middleman. And the CIA used him. British intelligence used him. The KGB used him. Or the relevance of, whoever are left there. The Chinese used them. And that's what he was there to do. And if it took...
Do you think he's really dead?
Do I think he's dead? No.
Neither do I.
No.
Okay.
No. I do not think he's
Yes.
dead.
My-
Oh,
my conspiracy theory is
one of the most
he's
secure
still
jails.
alive.
One of the most
No.
secure jails in our federal system. No one showed up for work today, and it was like it was like Andy Griffith's jail where he'd reach over and let himself out.
It's just like, oh, no one's here.
Yeah, really. Otis
Oh,
would.
he left the keys so close in my reach.
Yeah, Otis would come in drunk, and he knew he was public, and he'd go into the jail.
Yeah.
He'd sleep it off in the jail.
It's just so far fetched.
Yes, it's
so
beyond.
far-fetched.
It's beyond. So yeah. Do I think? I think the same thing. That there are factions in the government that went after, his girlfriend Giesel or whatever, and Maxine, right? And she has the other black book. He had his black book, and she had her black book. That they could both go, this is our get out of jail free card. Mm-hmm. They jammed her up. And they didn't give her the same guarantee.
You see, like, why jam up the person who, again, like...
Because they already got the black book.
But then it's like...
But again, they want to see, okay, his black book. But now there's other pages in there.
But they already knew what was in those black books.
Yeah, but they didn't have her black book. And she wasn't giving that up without a full walk. She wasn't going to go the same way. And she goes, keep me in jail, I'll keep fighting it. Because I know the minute I give you this book, I'm a dead person. So, there were too many names in that book. I mean, you had Bill Gates going to that island. You had all the Bezos. They had them all.
Yeah, but those were highfalutin, celebrities,
He used honeypots. He'd bring these girls in that normally these guys could never even get to. They couldn't go to a bar. They couldn't go to a
That's
disco.
what I'm saying, like, people act shocked, but understand how that happened. To get like you were just saying, like between the CIA or the FBI, they were helping fund all of that.
Yes,
they were all in bed with that.
Yes,
so don't act so like, oh my God, Epstein did this on his own.
Because again,
No, he
there's
didn't.
times when the government can't have their fingerprints on it.
But that's what I'm saying. No, they watched from afar, but they knew damn well what was going on.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden acted all like, oh, how could this happen? Oh, my underage this, they were this. Meanwhile, no, you knew exactly what the hell was going on the whole time. You sat idle. You didn't say anything because you really couldn't, because you still had to play the fiddle for that person. To make sure you got what information you wanted out of it.
I was interested in his first conviction, where he served a year, and what went wrong with the system. And my only thing with that was he jacked the wrong person. And it didn't work. And, the snake bit him. Now, anyone else would have gotten 10 years for what he was accused of doing. And then he got everything, kind of pushed off to the side. He did it, and they got him out. And, it took time. I'm sure they had to tell him, hey, this is going to take time to get you out. We'll get you out. And, we'll have you back in business, but gotta take this thing slow. And there was a lot of fingerprints on those records that they don't want anyone to ever see who helped him. So, even if he's dead now, he's dangerous. Because who knows, if you had one black book, you could have three. And they said, oh, when we went into his safe, we only found $20,000 in cash. And a guy like that, I'm sure he had $1 million, that he needed to cut deals.
That's what I'm saying. It's so.
But the government can't put their
grotesque,
fingers.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Obama
It's
couldn't
grotesque
go.
every
Hey,
which way. It's not just Epstein.
Right.
He wasn't the only one involved.
no,
in
no.
this,
But you
know?
couldn't have. When the president of the United States goes to the CIA and says, "All right, what are our assets?" and make this happen, and the CIA goes, "All right, let's use our assets," and we get Epstein. And maybe he could have someone from the Middle East meet someone from over here. And they can have a little talk in neutral ground where it's not going to be confrontational, and neither one of them are going to go back and go, "Hey, you know who I just talked to on this rape island?" Yeah, they're not going to say anything like that. So this was a good place, a safe place for a general meeting. Everyone was safe there. And,
So they thought.
well, so they thought.
So they thought.
But all you need to do is have something unthread and unwind. And once that starts unwinding, it's going to unravel. And that's why I said, like the FBI, the keeper of the secrets. And that's a very powerful Kash Patel. Probably the most powerful guy in Washington. He's the keeper of the secrets. He goes into that room,
Yeah.
and everything is there. And I like Patella. He's an honest guy. He's a straight shooter. Always was. So I'm happy that he's there. Do I think that if Trump asked him, pull that file on that guy, would he do it? Absolutely, he would do it. He might ask him why. But either way, I'm going to do it for you. Just be curious. If you're looking for something, I might be able to find it and get it to you quicker than just saying, "Oh, I looked at it. I don't know. Looked all right." But you're looking for a specific date or a person that he might have met. I need to know. And I think and that's why Trump wants people he can trust. He wants loyal people.
Oh, Patel is a good one.
Yeah, Patel is a good one.
All right, it's cutting close to my phone.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go. You got like
I had to
2
run.
minutes. Let me see if. Oh, will you answer a few questions? I've been getting these. I don't know how I ended up on these lists, these political
It's your
lists.
Timu.
Yeah, probably. Will you answer a few questions
Republic
about
of
important
China.
issues facing you and your neighbors in South Carolina? No, I will not.
What issues?
I have lots of issues. They all border on mental insanity, but so now I'm going to get a message back. We got your message to stop.
Are you sure?
So, all right, we're going to end this. This was just a little,
Yeah, a little extra.
but I do like Musk. I just don't know if he fits into that job category.
All right.
So
Let's see what the coming weeks look like.
I think he's going to look at it and go, I don't need this shit.
I don't see him staying on long. Like I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think it's more. This is not permanent.
Yeah.
This is very temporary. It's. There's an end game. We
I
just
think
don't know
he
what that
needs-
is.
yeah,
but
I
there is
think
an
he
end
needs-
game, and he's not being in there.
I faded the black here. That was a bad push by your technical director. If it was a hamburger, believe me, I'd have it in my hand and be
Is that
no
a French
problem.
fry?
Yeah. But I just don't see him lasting there. It's just not his. Unless he is so bored.
Permanent.
Unless he is so bored now. I've gotten to the moon. I'm going to get to Mars. I build all these spaceships, and my alien brothers haven't come yet for me.
No, I think he loves this country and he wants to help. And
I think he does.
It's like
I think he does, and I think he
and this is his contribution.
he goes to Trump and Trump went to him. He goes, "Listen, it's broke. Hey, it's broke. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just know it's broke. I need someone
That's
in
what
there
I
that can
said.
tell me.
I don't think it's permanent. So
I don't see him lasting more than the
Yeah.
18 months. And that's all he's allowed to do is 18
Right.
months.
I don't even think it's gonna be that long.
No.
Yeah. You can bet on it.
Yeah. He'll be gone way before this, way before that. He'll go in there. He'll have people in there, and they will have started something that won't
Right.
stop.
Right.
But I can't see him being there. I just don't. Number one, he's got such a history. I mean, what does he have? Like 14 babies out there now, or 15 babies?
Whatever.
He could start his own country soon.
Good for him.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Hey, exactly.
Whatever.
All right. Whatever.
Can you imagine the 15 texts he gets per day?
Hey.
I need another $40,000. I need, Junior needs this, and it would be nice if I had more.
You
Oh
made
my
your
God.
bed, you better lay in it. So he is. At least
Yeah.
he's owning his stuff.
Yeah.
So.
He's building the rocket so he can get the hell out of town.
Finding a new planet.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I take
Reproduce on.
yeah, the moon. I take Mars.
Musk moon.
Yeah, so he's building rockets to get out. So.
All right.
I'm gonna say my usual. Everyone say a prayer. Give to a charity. Make sure it's a registered charity. Do not be a victim helping a victim. And with that, I'm gonna fade to black.